So the little hot story out right now is the new show Preachers of L.A. I got a chance to check this show out. I believe it was Tuesday, it was before it premiered, which was last night. And you know, how I look at it is that I know a lot of people talk about prosperity pimps and the churches using people for money. You do have churches out there that are like that. And, when it comes to these guys here on TV, I don't knock these brothers for having outside hustles and ways to get money. Whether it's from books or from music or doing shows or whatever. I don't knock them. If we got cats that are, rapping or acting or, doing pop or any type of form of entertainment, why can't they do it? So, I don't knock them for that. But at the same time, I think when you are a pastor to a congregation, your congregation should be number one. One of the guys on there, Bishop McClendon, I used to actually go to his church, pretty often. He was in the city of Gardena. And, I remember when he would get done speaking, he would be escorted off of the stage onto his little limo, his Range Rover, and he was out of there. It was no type of interaction from him or the congregation. It basically was like, you watch him do his thing and he's out of there. He didn't stay after the service, talk to the people, see what the community needs. He didn't shake any hands. He was really Hollywood, and I remember that about him. This was a couple of years ago, but that was the type of vibe he gave off to not only me but a lot of people in the congregation. That was why I stopped going there. I wasn't a member, but I would go there because a family member of mine was a member there. So I'll go check it out or whatever. You have people that invite you to church. So that was my remembrance of him. He did come off very Hollywood, and if you look at the show, he's pretty much the most I would say the one who really comes off as a diva. He was the brother that little light skinned guy looked like Chris Stokes. He was a guy that got into it with that young dude about having the big entourage and having all these different people around you when you're conducting your business or you're conducting your congregation. So that was my remembrance of it, man. I think that the number one thing when you run a church or a congregation, you need to be about the people. The people should be your main source. If the people are not taken care of, they feel like you're neglecting them, that's something that you need to really take a look at. It shouldn't be your main focus is books and music and making your side money, but when it comes to the congregation, you come there, say your little sermon and you out of there. You have no interaction with the church, and that's a big problem. So that's how I look at it when it comes to this show. I don't really condemn these brothers for having other side hustles, because it is what it is. If you have the voice and you have the ministry to reach across the world through books, through music or whatever, hey, do it, by all means. But I think the community and the congregation should always be number one. And one thing I've said about a lot of these new age churches is that it's not the backbone of the community anymore, which is why I don't at this moment have a church home or really get into the whole church thing. I have my own relationship with God, but I would basically say I'm a spiritual person right now, but the church is not the backbone how it used to be back when we would say, the 50s and 60s, when we would come into the church and we would share ideas and we would do things for the community. I'm not talking about critiquing the community, saying, look at these young brothers out here killing each other. Look at the way these young women conduct themselves. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about actually doing things for the community, not just pointing the finger, but creating opportunities and changing the community from the inside out through the power and the structure that the church has. So that's always been my thing when it comes to this. I do think a lot of these guys need to tone the whole Hollywood thing, that you don't need this big entourage, like you this big famous star. You don't need all that. All you need is your Bible, and you need the Word. That's all you need. But for you guys to check the show out, give me your feedback on what you thought about it. That's how I thought about it. I think these guys do need to tone it down, but at the same time, I don't knock them for having, other side hustles. I think a lot of times, especially us within the black community, we feel like a bishop or a pastor can't be real unless they're just struggling, like maybe some of the people in their congregation, they have to be at the pitfall bottom in order to be taken serious. And I disagree with that. If you can make a profit from what you do and the word that you speak, and by if you can influence people to change their lives by the way you come across, by all means do that. But at the same time, I think there's a limit that we cross, and there's a certain type of format and structure of importance that we have to keep intact when we do venture out into outside business entities. But that's all I have to say. You guys give me your feedback. Peace.